So let's talk about Hexen. This game was released back in 1995, and it's a game I still play to this day. There's been a bunch of old games that were brought back in some way, like Doom, Shadow Warrior, Duke Nukem, Turok, Quake, and a bunch of others. But after so long, I'm still waiting on some big announcement that Hexen is coming back. Now, in 2023, during the Xbox showcase, Phil Spencer wore a t-shirt with the art for Hexen. Some people might see this as a tease to a possible reboot for the Hexen franchise. There's a few articles that cover this topic, so here's what I found. He says the t-shirt he wears during certain public events doesn't always mean it's a tease for a big game reboot, yet. Ever since Microsoft acquired id Software and Activision, it says they do own Hexen. That wasn't me trying to pre-announce it, but it was me recognizing the importance of some of the games in our portfolio. Spencer offered an origin story for his t-shirt tradition. The first time I wore a t-shirt on stage in this way was a game called Jumpman that I used to play with my dad on the Commodore 64 Epyx Jumpman. I wore a Jumpman shirt thinking nobody would know what it was except my dad because he was watching, and it was right around Father's Day, which is when E3 always is. To be truthful, I didn't really communicate it much internally, and then I'm on camera recording that and people are like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." So for me, wearing the Hexen shirt wasn't as much about a tease forward as it was just about nostalgia. I recognize that as our portfolio grows, we've got important games that we have to kind of protect and nurture and maybe bring back at some point. Hexen was a game that I loved. If you know anything about like where that game was built or where it was published, there's just these games that kind of come together or that have the potential to come together that I get excited about. If you think about where our future could go, there's kind of some interesting intersection. During a podcast in 2023 about Microsoft acquiring Activision, he does mention Hexen again. They don't have plans for it yet, but maybe someday. They usually pick a team that's passionate about a project to pick the right people that can work on a certain game. He did say he likes the remaster they did on Quake 2, and he wants to see more things like that.
I do think with Game Pass, we have the ability to maybe pick a couple franchises every year and almost do like a revisited. I just made up that term, so it's not a brand.
It's not on a box.
It's not on a box, but you know, I tease about things like Hexen just because I remember playing it as a kid. I have no plan for that, but I do think when you look across all of the franchises and are a part of our teams, there's an opportunity for us to go back, even if it's just to recognize the moment and what those things meant in gaming's history and do something right with it, make it available to people through Game Pass. I think there's an opportunity. There's not a plan for that, but there's an opportunity. If teams want to go back and revisit some of the things that we have and do kind of a full focus on it, I'm going to be all in on that, because I think there's just an amazing trove of things that we can go and touch again. It doesn't have to just be about Activision and Blizzard. Like I said, when you look across all the portfolio, I think about things like the Quake 2 remaster. It just came out from it. I thought that was awesome, right? They did a real good job revisiting a game, making it current, but also not leaving the history behind. So I'd love to see more things like that.
Sometime after this podcast went out, a member from Night Dive Studios made a post on X about Hexen. Samuel Villarreal, who is the lead engine developer at Night Dive Studios, said this: "Just letting you know, having a long-running history and extensive knowledge with Heretic and Hexen. Just want to point out that me and my team are very well suited for the job." If you look at their portfolio of games, they did work on a bunch of older games that can now play on modern hardware. So Hexen does have a chance to come back. It's just a matter of when Xbox or Microsoft want to focus on it. So that's it for now, but tell me in the comments, which old game do you want a remaster of? Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like on the video, and I'll see you later.